legislative body, the legislative branch of the three branches of power in federal government, is the lawmaking branch of the national government. These are the people that make the laws. The president does not make the laws. The Supreme Court does not make the laws. The legislature, they make the laws. And the legislature is broken up into two houses. You already studied this in the first unit, right, with the Virginia plan and the New Jersey plan. Their compromise was a two-house legislature, the House of Representatives and the Senate. And together, they're the legislative branch which makes the laws that affect the entire country. No other body in the federal government does it other than Congress. Congress being the legislative branch. I'm repeating it just so it hammers in. This is going to be an important thing for you to know, because not only for the test, because we're going to continually be referring back to all three branches. And I'm going to be assuming you have at least a general idea of the definition of what Congress is. And they are the ones who make the laws, not the president, not the Supreme Court. All right, so we said there's two houses. First house, the Senate. Senate, if you're in the Senate, you're a senator. And if you're a senator, then you get elected for 6-year terms. That means when you get elected, you get to go for 6 years. The president goes for 4 years. A senator will get to go for 6 years. And that means they don't have to campaign for elections very often. And that gives them the ability to focus more on policy than on having to constantly run for another election. For example, the president's in there for 4 years. Some people say that the president who gets elected to 4-year terms only actually is president for 2 or 3 of those years, because 1 or 2 of them he has to be on the campaign trail trying to get people to vote for him for the next election. Now, he still does a lot of his responsibilities as president during that time, but he's got this huge, massive distraction of, I got to win the next election. So senators with 6-year terms have even more time to just focus on their job and not worry too much about having to go around and going on a campaign tour of the whole country, maybe even the world. The total number of senators rarely changes because it's always 2 per state. The only time that the number of senators would change would be if we added a new state, in which case we'd have 2 more senators. Every state, no matter how big, no matter how small, gets 2 per state, and they're elected for 6-year terms. The House of Representatives only get elected to Congress for 2-year terms. That's right, just 2-year terms. Elected members never stop campaigning. They're always, the next election is next year. Like they're constantly having to think about, like, how do I look? How are people thinking of me? What am I? What's the TV spot on me going to be about? Like they got that big distraction of the elections just around the corner, just around the corner. Now, neither senators or House of Representatives have limits. Okay, president gets to run twice, and that's it, no more. House Representatives and senators can go on as long as they can keep winning. We've had members of the House who've been in the House for 58, 60 years because they keep winning elections. And then some, they go for 2 years and they get kicked out. You can, as often as you win, that's how long you can stay a House of Representative or be a senator. And now, the reason why there's only 2-year terms is the Founding Fathers intended to be a way for the common people to become representatives for just short periods before they would muck things up, because the Founding Fathers didn't trust normal people that much. So they figured, okay, House, 2 years, everybody can try to get in, get a taste of government, and get out before you mess everything else. Keep the rich people in control. But that didn't really work out that way, because there are career politicians who aren't just for short periods, and they still are generally rich guys and rich women. The total number for the House of Representatives changes every 10 years. This is going to be an important term, the census. This will come up in future units. The census counts everybody in the country, how many people there are, and that's how we base the number of representatives. That's why California has 55 representatives, because we have millions of people. Millions. I mean, San Diego, LA, they each have over 1 million just in those cities, but there's so many cities in California. Whereas New Mexico gets 5, because there's just not that many people living there. So the more people you have, the more reps you get. The fewer people you have, the less reps you get. But to make sure that that stays true, every 10 years we recount to make sure that the number of representatives matches the population correctly. Because 10 years, a lot can change. People might leave a state, in which case the population goes down, representatives go down. Or maybe there's a big influx. Like Arizona has been growing a lot in the last few years, so last few decades. So their representatives count has been gradually going up. Not on the same level as, say, Texas or California, but still, that's why different states have different numbers of representatives. Now, finally, once they're in, that's where things get really complicated, because you get sent to the House or you get sent to the Senate by your state. Nobody except for the people from the state that you ran in voted for you. So if you run as senator for California, people in Nevada and New Mexico and New York, they don't vote for you, okay? Just California. But when you're a member of Congress, you're representing your state, but passing laws that affect the entire nation. So you've got this balance here where you've got to show respect to the people who got you there, the state, but recognize that when you pass a law, you help pass a law, it doesn't just affect your state, it affects the entire country. So, and then there might be a conflict of interest. What's good for the state might be bad for the country. What's good for the country might be bad for the state. So which way do you choose? That's a tough decision to make. Also, political parties, they spend a lot of money to get you into office. So, their interests, you got to show them a little bit of respect. And same thing for interest groups like the NRA and PETA and stuff like that. You're going to have to, if they help put you in office by spending a lot of money in your campaign, it's only fair that you give them your ear. You listen to what they want to say. So there's a lot of different competing interests for the power that a senator or a House representative has, and he's not going to be able to make, he or she's not going to be able to make everybody happy. That's it. I'll see you in class. If you have any questions, let me know.